Hello, good afternoon. This is actually the Options Brew TV version of the TradeHawk 2.0. So I'm Lex, your host, and I will be going through some of the new features on the new TradeHawk 2.0. So this broadcast should be recorded and will be live on the YouTube channel. So make sure that you check it out there afterwards. We're going to go through some of the new features, but we're going to do a quick overview of some of the existing ones. Let me just say 2.0, clearly the new rebranded version of TradeHawk 1.0. Okay, so we've rewritten it from the ground up. I think you're going to find it has, much more user-friendly features. Ultimately feature parity, but it's going to be fantastic. A lot of great new design that I'm going to show you today. So without further ado, let's look at the platform instead of me. So this is good. The way we've designed this, okay, so we have containers. In each container, you have workflows, okay, and I'll go through some of the new ones. I'm not going to go through everything in this video. Let's start here, the trading container. This is where your option grid is, where you'd have your order panel for open orders, your portfolio pages also, and we'll refer to that in a second, okay? Watch lists, room chats, towers to trade, etc. So everything's right here that you need to do in terms of trading. In 2.0, you have a consolidated ticket that you have equity trading, options trading, advanced orders all in one spot, okay? And again, you can use the option chain, we call it a grid in 2.0, so it's called the options grid to make your trades. Or if this is too detailed for you, you can remove this options grid. Now, I don't necessarily recommend this, but you could remove this options grid and you could actually trade right from the ticket itself. So I'll give you a couple of examples of that in a second. The other note, all the templates now are configurable, meaning columns all change. They can be removed. You can add columns. We're always adding new columns. I know there's new things coming for the options grid, but you can make your own private layout. We have a settings page down in the bottom left corner. If you click on that, you'll get the settings template. I'll bring it in. So you can go through and do settings for many different modules that exist out there, okay? The other thing too is the system comes out of the box. It looks similar to this. I've moved a few things around. And the way you move things, you just grab the container, hold it, and move it to a new spot. So I think I have this locked. I'm going to unlock it. If I wanted to move my watch list over, I could just grab it, move it over, let it go, and the watch list is now taking the space over there next to the options grid. I personally like my watch list over here. I like it a little thinner so I can see it when I'm, what's going on in the market as things are moving during the trading day. Additionally, you can make multiple watch lists. I like to have an options only watch list where I just put my option trades in. And then I've got another list for the stocks I'm looking at. Again, lightning bolts are your friend. Just click them. There are many workflows underneath each one. In this case, in the watch list, edit, create, or delete a watch list. Okay, so that's what happens there. The options grid also has one. All kinds of neat little tricks with these lightning bolts. On the options grid, you can go left to right, so you can see multiple months across the screen going from left to right, or you can go top down, and you can't really see multiple months top down, but you can scroll to the subsequent months if you'd like. Okay. There's some standard grid formats for the options grid that are labeled, and you can also have your own custom ones that you would set up in settings. You can filter for strikes. So we give you hard-coded ones now. I think soon to come, we will make that configurable as well. So if for some reason you wanted 8 up and down, you'll be able to do that in the near future. We also allow filtering for expirations. So if you're not really interested in weeklies, you can remove those and look at just what you're interested in. And we're same thing with shading as it is with strikes. No shading, and these are let's call it placeholders for now. So this is hard coded, but again, in settings you will be able to customize these features. So right now we're giving you no shading in the money, 1 standard deviation zones, 2 standard deviation zones, and we chose an 80 delta just to demonstrate. So these shading areas that you see is the 80 delta. And if you look, you can see on my delta column, this is 80. That's where it's shaded. The put side over here is 80 as well. So this is all labeled now. Okay. Strikes are down the middle. Again, these move, so you don't have to have them in this order. If you grab the strikes and you want to move it over here, you can do that. Saving your layout will always happen when you leave the system. Okay. Now, probably a little bit of a frustration point at times. And what I mean by that is, sometimes what I do is I'll end up in my portfolio page. I'll go get coffee. I'll come back. Maybe the trading day's over, and I want to always be here first. And I exit the system here. And when I come in the morning, it saves to this spot. So just know that it's not anything going wrong or anything you did incorrectly. That's just what it's doing. Okay, it'll save automatically. Okay, entering orders, very simple. Just like old TradeHawk 1.0, bid, ask. In this version, you can see how I'm clicking. I'm clicking on a bid. I'm clicking on an offer. The more you click, the more legs come in. Okay. Also in 2.0, if you click once, you will get, sorry, I already had one in there. You'll get one single option to trade. Okay. So it's not a spread ticket and there's not a individual option ticket any longer. It's all one. So if you want to trade a single option, just put the single option in there. In terms of editing your option, we now have drop down. So if you chose an option you didn't want, you can go find a new expiration from the drop down, a new strike. And if you decided you wanted to put instead, you can do that all right from the ticket now if you wanted to. One thing that we did is if you're trying to, for instance, I could buy to open, right? And if I went to sell this option, okay, what it won't let you do is, since I already have a long one lot, it won't let you sell to open. It only let you sell to close. So that choice is X'd out. So it sort of prevents you from really making a mistake. Not that it would go through in the first place; it would probably be rejected. But we don't even let you get to that step. If you want to change your quantity in a single option, change it here. Okay, I'm just toggling. You can always click on something and type in a bigger number if you'd like. Okay, and just hit the enter key on your keyboard and it will tell you how many you're sending out. Okay, the other thing that's cool is the preview screen now. When you click that preview screen, what happens is, well, what normally happens when the market's open is you'll get a preview screen that shows you everything that is. Let me just do this real quick. Let me try this real quick. Okay, I think it might be because the after hours market is closed and it's not showing me this right now. Apologize for that. But what happened is you'd get break evens, you'd get a graph P&L, reds for negative P&L, greens for positive, and you could scroll over. It's going to look very similar to our what if, and it'll have the tenor of this scrolling when you hit that preview package. Any prices can be clicked on, change quickly, change them by typing, etc. So very similar functionality from 1.0 there. Okay, let me move along into the new stuff. And I can certainly answer questions if you have comments. Just send them through. But let's move to what if first. Now, what is what if? Actually, you know what? Let's go to charts first. So we've completely upgraded the charts. Again, certainly customizable. I'll just give you some examples. I've chosen the MACD down here. Okay, so that's an indicator, and you can see how I checked here. And if you click on it, what we give you now is the ability to modify and customize all the features of MACD. So if you don't like the standard fast, slow signals, you can change them. You can change colors of your lines. You can do all that sort of thing in this new version. Okay, you can choose multiple ones. Obviously, there's upper bands, there's candle patterns, there's lower bands. Again, this isn't an exhaustive list of everything we have. It's just things that we've added currently. So you can add that sort of stuff. You're going to have multiple moving averages you can choose. Again, any moving average that you want, you can type it in. So if I pick a simple moving average, and I think it defaults to 20, but if you, for whatever reason, you wanted an 8 and you didn't like that color line, you could pick any color line that you want and choose it, update it, and now you've got that line running through it. Now, I just noticed that I don't like the width of that line. So the line size, I'm going to make it more like a 3 on a guess and then update it. And now you can see that's a little bit thicker and easier to see. The new version, this new version, you can trade from the charts. So if you turn the trading line on, You get another event log. You get a ticket. Okay. Stock trading, it's going to say trade Apple in this case. It doesn't we're in Apple. You can take the stock line and move it wherever you want relative to candles. Click, put a buy limit out there or a sell stop, whatever the case may be, and out it goes. Options trading, there's an options tower of sorts, or I guess that's an options grid. It will show you 2 months. This is going to change. I will tell you that right now. You can highlight over the strike in question. You can click on it. It'll fill the ticket in and fill out your panel as well. Okay. But we're going to move this to a new version I'll show you in what if and strategies. So you can fill in multiple things here by just clicking bid, offer, and just keep clicking to add more legs. That's all you need to do on the options tab. In this general tab, you have fundamental data. Okay. You have whether or not you want to overlay options on the chart, on or off. The trade line, as I showed you, was there. If you wanted to create a trade down here, you could certainly do that. Kind of cool things. You can compare your Apple to another symbol. We default to spiders, but you can compare it as 2 graphs. If I turn that on, you can compare the spider graph to your underline, right? Turn that off. If you turn it relative on, this is kind of cool. I like this better. What this does is it says, okay, over the period, in this case, I have it set to days, and for whatever reason, it defaults to 522. You can see what a $1 investment in both products. The blue product is spiders. The red product is Apple. So you can see what a $1 investment has done over time. So in this example, the Apple version, I don't have my crosshairs turned on, but the Apple is up about 1.5 times to the spiders. So it's kind of neat. You can compare 2 different stocks that are like Apple in here. If you'd like, you just type in the new symbol. Okay, so that's kind of a neat feature as well. All right. Let me just show you a couple other things here. So in here, I don't particularly like the red and white candles. So to change that, you just go to settings. And in settings, you have all kinds of things here. Up candle color, down candle color, all this kind of good stuff, right? I won't go through all of them. If you wanted the crosshair on, again, you can colorize that, turn it on, and now you get, some interesting information as you mouse over things as well. The latest version, when you mouse over, you'll get the information on the candle up in the top left corner to show you the open, high, low, close of that candle. Okay, so I'm just going to turn that off for now. You can change the axes as well, how the plotting mechanism works. You can change the background color to light. Incidentally, you can have a light setting on the whole platform. That's done in settings also. So back to candle settings, which I don't particularly care for the white. I'm going to make that a green candle, let's say, and I'm just going to choose that kind of green and see how we do. So you can see how that changed. I'm going to make my candle size a little bit thicker just for kicks. I made it a 5, and now I can see that a lot better. Okay. You'll have a full slate of drawing tools, different candle types, including point and figure and Renko. Okay. I talked about averages, and you'll be able to take screen grab pictures of your charts. The other things that are coming soon on charts, you're going to be able to make notations. There's a cool Fibonacci box coming as well. So you're always adding new features to the charts. Okay. Let me move along then to what if. So what if is what we would call our risk analyzer tab. In what if, you can send anything over from there. So if you're in the portfolio, you can send things that you have on over to there. You can send spreads over there if you'd like. You can do any of that sort of stuff. The other cool feature about what if is if you wanted to send positions, and it can be an empty position, which is just starting from scratch. It can be from an existing position that you have on, the entire position. You can pull it from a strategy, which we'll talk about in a sec, or you can pull it from a group. Now, I have custom groups, and the custom groups I have are what are labeled here, okay? So if I chose this Apple and hit create, what's going to happen, it'll take a couple seconds to pull in, but it'll bring in that Apple grouping that I had, okay? And that's this right graph. So as you can see, you can certainly compare 2 things to one another. Where this becomes useful, okay, not necessarily comparing Apple to QQQ. That's kind of exciting, but not the best excitement is you can certainly add another position and add some things into this QQQ position to try to fix it or change it if you'd like, and then look at the two versions next to each other like this. If you click this icon, that particular strategy will take the whole space, and then you could perform some analysis here. We'll get into the analysis in 1 second. If I choose over here and click that, the Qs will come up as well. You always have 2 dates to look at. So the second date is here. In this case, it's expiration. It's that yellow line. The green date is the first date, and it's that green line there. Okay. You don't have to have both dates on. You can take that off. Now we're working with date number 2. You can see how it's highlighted. So you can just measure that. You can always go and choose a new date, and then you'll get a new graph for that single date. Okay. And if you chose this here, you'd get a date for that term, and you can now have the green one as the first and the yellow one's always the second. Okay. You can see that I'm mousing over and I'm getting values over to the left. If you want to look at one value, you can take that one off and look at those values. P&L on the left, actual price of the underlying there. We show break evens. We show percentages on the loss side, percentages on the gain side. Anywhere you mouse, you have a little meter that shows percentages either side of that mouse. You now have the ability to look at a Theo value of this trade versus an actual P&L based on your cost. You can look at the deltas of this trade and look at it over different price points: gamma, vega, theta, rho. So everything's there in terms of Greeks. An interesting feature. You can play a little video of your position. And I think, you know what, let me go back on the cues a little bit so the video is a little bit longer. So let's go to like May 12th. Okay, and let's put both of these babies on and hit the play button. Okay, so what's going to happen is that you're going to see how this position plays out. So the green line, think of it this way. The green line is going to start making its move so that it merges with that yellow line. So you can see a whole movie as that goes by. So you can see this go from day to day to day. And you can stop anywhere along the way. It'll tell you the date you stopped on, and it'll give you some information about what happened on that date. You can hit play again and keep it going. You can mouse back slowly day by day, or start at the beginning again, go to the end, etc. So it's really cool to do that. And you can also do it with deltas and do the same kind of play with deltas, where you say, okay, let's see what my delta profile looks like as time goes on, which is kind of neat. And some people like to see where they go theta positive versus theta negative on the play. So sometimes that's an interesting feature for folks. And if you stop it, you can see I'm starting to go down here. I'm getting theta positive. So there's lots of things you can do with this what if analysis tool. The other thing, the dollar sign, click it. Gives you P&L, gives you max profit, max loss, gives you your break-even point. So it's all right there for you. Okay, a lot of features coming in here. If you're not a graph person, great. There's a table. Tables will take both of these sets of numbers, April 13th in this section, May 6th on this section. Differential will show your P&L comparison from one date on the left to the second date on the right. So you don't have to do any math. It's all right there for you. You can see the differences in delta and all the Greeks between the 2 days. Again, dates are changeable, not a problem. I'm not going to get too mathy here, but there's Monte Carlo simulations, which is, you know, a look at the walks of this position. It'll show you the percent profit of this position and the average P&L of this position over all of these runs. And then lastly, you get a surface of your P&L, a 3D graph of expiration versus P&L versus price. And you can grab this and move it around and shake it up and down and do all kinds of crazy stuff with it to see that over time. Okay, so lots of features there. I'll move on after this. I think you can add option trades. So for instance, if you said, you know, I really not in love with this this P&L here of this position, and I want to kind of try to fix it. So you don't like how this looks and you want to pick that side up. So what you can do is you can hit add option trade. So what that does is it's going to bring in what we would consider our standard options grid to add things. So what you can do here is you can pick any month. All the months are here. We made it very simple. You have a midpoint for each call and put. You can change that. It can be the last trade. It can be the bid, the ask. but you get one choice. I always use mid because it's right in the middle of the market. Now you can decide, you know what, I want to buy a put spread. And again, I'm making this stuff up, so don't think this is what I'm suggesting. So let's say I want to go out into this month in April, and I want to buy a put spread to see if I can lift some of that up. All you need to do is click B for buy, S for sell, okay? And it will add that trade right into there like that. So it's kind of neat the way that does that. It'll add those things in there. So you can see I've added 3 times. And keep in mind, when you do that, okay, and you use these things, they're additive to the thing. So if you want to do a 3 lot, you have to do it 3 times because we make it each a trade. Okay, so you can unuse it and uncheck it if you'd like. You can certainly change the sizes. Okay, so if you want to do like 35, for instance, you can look at that and change that. Right. So all you need to do is that you can change the cost of this to get it right, so you can get all this P&L figured out. So if you bring these 2 in here, you can see how I've changed the flavor profile of that graph. So if I uncheck these, right, you can see that I brought that downside to a different spot. Cool thing is if you have these on, you say, hey, I love this idea. Trade column, click, send the ticket. Okay, now there's going to be a ticket in here, but it takes you to the front ticket, loads it up the way I have it set, gives you the pricing. Midpoint is always our default. You can change that, hit the send button, out it goes. So kind of neat. You can do a lot of workflow right from here, make the trade if you like it, and send it out. When you close this for the evening, it will save all your work just as you have it. So when you come back tomorrow, you'll have this apple in here as well as this QQQ. If you want to see them together, horizontal tiles, you can see them both next to each other, or vertical, you can see them on top of each other. I kind of like the horizontal better. Okay, and if you want to see just one, either click that or double click the header. All right, good. Let's move along. Let's go to last thing, strategies. So what the strategy tracker does, it's again another container. It allows you to create all kinds of special setups and manage your strategy. So if you remember from my what if, I had this QQQ trade here. And incidentally, you have these orange boxes that mean that you actually have a position on. These are not positions. They're just things that I'm checking out. So you can absolutely see what you have on. So I have this 100 by 50 lot. So what strategies does, and you can see that again here, it's duplicated here, is I can do anything here. Any trades I make to make adjustments in strategies, I can add into this position. And I can always keep track and keep notes. So now we've added notes. So you can write a little note to yourself about the trade you made. Okay. So I put adjustment on March 31st. I had to do an adjustment, right? So you can do all that sort of thing. If things expire, you can expire worthless or make an assignment at the end of the strategy so that it turns into cash. You can even add cash to the strategy so that when it turns into cash and you've made $500, you can label it and call it $500, and it will add into all your stuff here. Okay. So super cool with the strategy tracker. And from what if, you can pull strategies in here. You can always add new options into here. So if you hit the option button, you're going to get that same graph that comes up from that what if, and you're going to be able to add options very simply right from here. Now, in this version, which isn't available now, you have to type in the symbol, what it'll be here. The reason we first thought about making you type in a symbol is because we do have folks who use this QQQs versus spiders. So they might have spiders and QQQs in the same strategy, and they're doing a pairs trade of sorts. Don't worry about that. We're going to default to one of the symbols, and then if you have to go to the other symbol in a particular strategy, if you so have that, then you would just change it. But again, adding something super easy. Buy for B for buy, S for sell. You can see I pulled those in down here. They've added to my strategy. I can change my size to do that. And then I have a new strategy with new things in it. Okay. And then from here, you can send to strategies as well. So if you have positions on that you forgot to tag to a strategy, all you need to do is find that position in your portfolio page and send it to a strategy. You'll get your choices. And if you want to send it to the Apple Strangle, you just hit send, and that should be sent to your Apple Strangle strategy. And there's that one that I just put in there. It'll take the original cost. Again, configurable all through here, all kinds of neat stuff. And you can do analysis of your strategies in the what if as well. You can see I have notes to myself. You can make pretty decent amount of notes here all over the strategy tracker. These lightning bolts are your friend. Create and modify as needed. This lightning bolt, that's a cost display. We can show position cost or average price of the trade. So I would say that, we did a lot of more intuitive lightning bolt kind of things, icons where you just click instead of left click, right click. So you can absolutely feel free to click on the lightning bolts. They're very helpful. So, anyhow, that's kind of a rundown of the new features. I got to tell you, we're really moving through this well. It's probably officially it's still in beta, I'd say. So the new version's coming out shortly. We're just kind of doing that last little debugging. So you'll get the what if and the new chart features and strategies. We do now have a room chat. We'll talk about that in a subsequent video. But yeah, we're just keep adding more and more things, and we're going toward, feature parity of 1.0. Important note to make that if you have 1.0, you can have 2.0. There's no change in price. There's no additional price. You can run both side by side. If there's some features in 1.0 that haven't landed here yet, feel free to use both at the same time. Not a problem whatsoever. Okay, I hope that was helpful. This will be on the YouTube channel, the Options Brew TV YouTube channel, and we'll also add it to the TradeHawk channel. Thanks for coming, and sign up for a demo with me anytime you want. We'll do this as a private online video. So I hope all is well. Have a great rest of the week, and good night.